Hello everyone, hope you're all well and thanks very much for all the support with my videos. I'm very grateful. Today I want to speak about the immigration chaos in Ireland and an update regarding a few protests that have taken place around the country. Most notably we've seen the protests in Coolock. Over the weekend we saw protests in Dundrum again and Dundrum in County Tipperary because of the decision by the Department of Immigration to house up to 280 international protection applicants in Dundrum House Hotel, which is a village that has an accommodation and holds 165 people currently in terms of the population of Dundrum, small village in County Tipperary. Now, people in Dundrum have been up in arms because of lack of consultation, no integration, and the suitability of the building as a facility. But in response, they were protesting over the last number of weeks and they've taken a High Court case in the last number of days. And this is due to be heard tomorrow by the people that have come together and decided that they need to get an injunction against what's going on in terms of the anti-democratic nature of the planning system when it comes to international protection accommodation centres. We see so many people profiting from it around the country. So I'll keep you posted on that. And also we've seen the huge protests in Coolock. Last week the Gardaí brought down 2 water cannons from the north in anticipation of a protest that was being held at the weekend. Now, this protest wasn't organised by the people who were organising it generally. They didn't know who was organising it, and a lot of people didn't turn up then because this seemed to be some sort of outside sources or outside influences were organising this demonstration. It wasn't the normal people who were being protesting there for months and months. Now, we've seen the move towards trying to escalate these protests in terms of the Gardaí response in numerous places as well, and a heavy-handed approach again by Gardaí, and the move of water cannons to these sort of protests is a serious escalation of our basic rights to peaceful assembly, which are sacrosanct in the Irish Constitution as well. And over the weekend we've seen protests in Dundalk also. Now, this comes in the context of what's been going on. We've seen a bit of fudging by the Irish government in the last number of days regarding the numbers. There's been, Simon Harris has been pushing around to say that people now will have to pay for services. Now, this is a little bit too little, a little too late. And he said there will be rent changes for people in line with EU countries. So now's the push to get people who are claiming international protection, whether it be economic migrants or asylum seekers, would now be paying for accommodation. This comes on the back of a welfare cut to Ukrainians and a means test that's in place as well. Now, this doesn't go anywhere near far enough. The horse is bolted and they're closing the barn door after what's going on, because in May we had the highest number of applications per head of population in the European Union. When you consider other countries as well that have really put a stricter approach in place, such as Denmark, because they've stood with the working class in that country, and really they've stood up against the interests of the big employers and against the interests of the super rich who are benefiting from these policies. Now, it is interesting because this is pure grandstanding by the Irish government and the opposition. And I spoke last week about Sinn Féin's policies and the fact that it's no real change to the status quo, and they're really papering over the cracks rather than dealing with the issue itself, because of lack of services, because of lack of infrastructure, and also lack of integration as well. It's absolutely just catastrophic what's happening. And if you consider the push by all these big institutions, Irish and international, who are making huge profits from this, it's always who benefits from this crisis as well, and much the same as what they're doing, trying to push them into working class communities, claiming there's no veto, when community sovereignty should be the heart of every decision that impacts all communities, whether that's around housing, health service, education, jobs, immigration. Is no different to that either as well, which is vitally important to where democracy should start and end, with communities, with people on the ground having a voice in their opinion, and their opinions being listened to, heard, and being central, which is the critical component to the decision-making process, which is vitally important. So we'll wait and see what transpires with the action that's been taken by the residents in Dundrum And we'll see what happens obviously with the other protests, such as what's happening in Coolock as well over the next period of time, which is a site which is completely unsuitable for anybody to live in, an ex-paint factory, which is absolutely just remarkable that they're thinking that this is the way to go with dealing with the multitude of crises created by the political establishment and supported by a lot of the opposition as well, rather than standing up for the interests of ordinary people and the super rich that they represent and the billionaires. So thanks for all the support on my video, really appreciate them. And if you like my videos, please press subscribe to my YouTube channel. So from Dublin, take care, slán, bye bye.